And we're live.
My parents came to visit last weekend, and you mentioned the thing about God praising it. So here's the deal. My father went off to college. He went to Rutgers Camden, and it didn't go well. And I've heard this story through my childhood like a dozen times. He got in with these other people, and he played pinochle all the time. I don't even know this game. I know it's a card game. And he played pinochle, and he'd miss classes, and he just wasn't like, I don't know. His head wasn't in the game when it came.
That's a very old-timey form of deviancy.
Okay, so so his head wasn't in it, when it came to college, and he dropped out. He got a job at some insurance company working in finance, and then his mom insisted he goes to school, and he ended up adding night school to his list of responsibilities and finished that way, and career goes on. Anyway, he retold the story to me more recently. And he said, I went to school. Man, it was too liberal. It was too liberal. And some of the things they try to teach you, like geology, it's not true. They try to warp your mind. And he doesn't believe in geology because it disagrees with his Christianity. And it was
5,000-year-old Earth.
Because to jump in, Woody, they're like born again, hardcore, like 6,000 years old Earth, like that form of Christianity, correct?
Yeah, it seems that way. I mean, like,
oh, wow.
I'm not and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, you've rewritten your history, and you're in a cult. Like, it's Christianity, but it's a cult. Anyone would identify it as such, and like, I don't even know what to do. Like, he's my dad, right? He's above me. I don't sit here and tell him how to live his life.
Mm-hmm.
But
you're thinking about an intervention for your father?
Stuff like that's crossed my mind.
You're like, I wish that there was a geological intervention. Could I call like Bill Nye, and he could bring some agate and some sedimentary rocks in here and sit them on the table? Could we analyze the layers? Could we look at that Precambrian zone right there in the middle?
Work though, right? Like I feel like for an intervention to work, that guy has to know somewhere that he's not doing the right thing, right? Like, he's done so much heroin. The writing is on the wall. He's lost his girlfriend. He's lost his teeth. He's lost his job. And they're like, dude, you got to straighten up. And it sort of is the kickstart into, I know that you're right.
I bet the best way to bring it up to him, if he actually did want to, would be for not you to do it. Because if you are not a non-believer and you come at someone who is a believer, as with any religion, they're going to come at the conversation as like, you're not going to change my mind. Yeah. I was told there would be tests to my faith, and I am filing this as a test of my faith because that's easy to rationalize. That happens of every single religion. But if you have a Christian scientist, not that cult, a Christian who is a scientist, talk to him about it, because there are so many fucking Christians out there who are like, yeah, evolution is just the way that God did it. Geology, it's just another thing for God. Time doesn't mean anything to God. Like, whatever. Who you can bicker, like, I'm sure the more devout Christians who believe the 6,000 thing would try and shoot holes through that, but it seems like that would be the route to take. Be like, I'm not trying to challenge the core of your belief. I'm just saying, why limit God to that small scope? That's a good way to phrase it, I think.
I'm outside the loop on these things, but I guess the book of Revelations is one that does a lot of prophecy, like predictions and stuff.
Oh, yeah, it's the last one, the book of end times. It's really interesting, a little crazy.
He was telling me that it is more accurate than any newspaper you'll find out there, right? It doesn't matter. CNN, Fox
except for
News,
Fox News.
Even Fox News, they don't get it as accurately as the Bible does. The Bible has completely predicted like what's happening now with the negotiations between Palestine and Israel and stuff like that. The thing is, like, I feel like he's forgotten because he told me Obama was literally the Antichrist, right? Not like I really dislike Obama, but Obama is the Antichrist, a person that's been mentioned in this book.
He failed.
Right? And he's like, the Antichrist is going to try to bring them together, and this is going to happen or whatever. And he's laying it out for me. I'm like, so wouldn't that make Trump the Antichrist now? He's the one like trying to negotiate a settlement between these two. And he goes, no,
yes.
No.
Every president.
I don't think Trump is the Antichrist. No, that doesn't seem right. Okay.
They get so blinded though. Like, my mother has recently become very religious, and she got really sick the other week and just came out of hospital, and she'd put her post up that how ill she was and that she was struggling, and literally 2 out of the 6 posts on her post on Facebook was like, you just need to pray harder.
Yes. No, it's ridiculous. That's an actual thing. It's I mentioned Christian Science earlier. That's a small, more cultish form of Christianity. We had a thing in high school where we went to a lot of different religions. We went to like a mosque, and like talked to an imam, and went to a Mormon place and like talked to him. And it was really just a way for the religious teachers at our school to come back home to our classes and be like, see, fools, the lot of them, and like that kind of thing. But basically we were at a Christian Science thing, and they are very much against medicine. And so they won't take medicine. They won't take any sort of medical help. And there was this, speaker giving it, saying like, if you have cancer, you just need to pray. God can remove that for you. Modern medicine, it may help you, but it's not or it won't even help you. If God wants you to be healed, you will be healed. And this woman's assistant, another lady, had some glasses on. And this smarmy asshole in our class stood up and was like, I noticed that your assistant has glasses. Is that because she didn't pray hard enough? And they didn't have an answer for it, because that's really all it takes, is just a simple kind of refutation of that more ridiculous thing. Where it's like, oh yeah, well then how is that different from heart disease?
I hate people who aren't good on the fly. I hate people who aren't good on the fly like this. Yeah, she is farsighted. I think God wanted her to look closer to what's at home, though. She was looking too far at too many material things in her life, and her eyes started degrading. Isn't that right, Rachel? Yes, that's true.
So what you're saying is she's disobeying the will of God by looking farther away.
Yeah. So now she can look at the things that matter the most: her family, God, her Bible, the things that she can see now. Anything farther than 3 feet away is blurry.
We need to make Kyle like one of those new evangelical preachers, because he can go on the fly. Think of the money we could pull in. It's pretty profitable.
Can you still
right?
set up ridiculously stupid churches, or did John Oliver ruin it?
No, you can. I'm sure you could, as long as you can, because like John Oliver's church was clearly like, this is ridiculous. We are joking.
What was it? The Church of Tax Exemption or something?
Yeah, something like that. If we could do it, like, Kyle, do you know enough about the Bible that you think that you could twist things or pull out scriptures?
I'm going to write my own book. There's too much in there. There's too much in the Bible that contradicts itself. I'm going to write my own book that actually makes some fucking sense.
And there's your first problem. Your book has to contradict itself, because you need to be able to defend any position on any given day. If it doesn't contradict itself, eventually there's going to be an uprising within your church or cult, and they're going to split it off, and you're going to be shot of luck. Who knows?
All right, so here's how we do it. Taylor, you're the strategist.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle, you're the preacher.
Does Woody get the boys? Is that how this
Woody can get the boys.
I was like, I guess I can handle the checkbook.
And I'll just take, 30%.
You stand out front with a British accent and welcome people in. Well, this wouldn't be a trick. A British person.
I feel like a British accent might validate it.
It will.
It makes it more trusting.
The newest religion in from England.
Yes.
We're testing.
Fresh off the boat.
Well, that's what we'll do. If you guys have ideas for our fake religion and what roles we should all play and what our core beliefs should be, let us know.
And help us name the church. John Oliver's was Our Lady of Perpetual Exemption. I think something in that family would be fun.
It also has to be something to do with Christianity, because we've said a lot of ridiculous shit in the past. And so we're going to have like a come to Jesus moment where we're like, we've said a lot of things on this show that, God dag nabbit. I think that the good Lord wouldn't look down on so fondly. We need to reevaluate the way we do our shit. Oh, we can't say that. Sorry again, God.
That would be one of the things in my church. Curse all you want. Like there would be cursing in the sermon. I think. I think that you want to like untie some of those things that fetter the masses. Like there's too much control in most of these modern religions. You can't do this. You can't do that.
People like the control. They like to feel like by obeying something, they're doing something.
You know who started
Kyle,
cursing?
your cult is just going to be people hanging out and being like, "Can I leave?" And you're going to be like, "Whatever, man." And they're gonna be like,
no, you have to have strict
rules
rules to be able to get their money.
Have you watched Tony Robbins
you've
lately?
sinned?
That guy is
Tony Robbins in a while.
He had a Netflix special, and
I'm not your guru.
I'm not your guru. Yeah.
Wait,
and
is he a Christian speaker or what?
No, he's a motivational speaker, and he's actually very good. I'm almost embarrassed to be like, what'd you say?
It's not embarrassing to go to a
bad name.
No, Tony Robbins is a very respected like motivational speaker. Like he is the guy who's actually doing a good job as a motivational speaker and helping lots of people achieve like their goals and stuff.
Yeah.
Amidst a mass of scam artists and con men who also claim to do the same thing. So yeah, there's nothing wrong. Did you go to a Tony Robbins
No,
thing?
I watched one on Netflix. But like I remember when I was a teenager, my parents bought his tapes for either my brother or I. We both ended up listening to it. And like a lot of motivational speakers or books or whatever, it wears off, but it makes me the super me. And then it really needs to be refreshed. It needs like I'm like a plant that needs to be watered with good influences. I can't just be.
Yeah, I think I've seen a thing on Reddit. Like maybe it was a meme that said something about how motivation needs to be watered daily or something like that. I don't remember the verbiage.
He has started purposely dropping F-bombs all over the place. I think he called it like the science of bad language or something like that. And he does it because he wants to catch your attention. You know, he'll be like, Taylor, this is fucking important. You know, pay some goddamn attention to what I'm going to say next. And people are like, you know, like they tune in. And it was interesting to me that he just kind of like breaks any kind of cultural barriers, because I think like I have to like guard myself to remove all the bad words. And I think he does the opposite. I think he intentionally injects the bad words when they don't come naturally to him.
Yeah, he talks about the power of shock.
Okay.
Like, and how that is. I just thought it was a pretty unfortunate name for his documentary. Like, he is incredible, but the way people were crying and getting all excited and just the way he presented himself, I just felt like the name of the documentary being I'm Not Your Guru, and then he does everything that makes him a guru was just slightly weird.
Seemed backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from there, where it's like, I'm not this thing. Don't try and peg me down. Now watch me do exactly what everyone in my career does. You know, it comes down to doing something. A lot of people out there doing nothing. You got to get up, have a little motivation, do something. Have a good breakfast. 3 eggs, no more.
Three's a good amount
whatever,
of eggs.
Ridiculous. that 3 is a good amount of eggs.
You'll be well fed with 3 eggs, I'd say.
You ever had like a 6-egg omelet with a bunch of meat and cheese in it? It's not a good way to start the day. That's like 2 pegs above IHOP.
That's a lot of food.